Mark Hamill.
Mark Richard Hamill is an American actor, voice actor, producer, director, and writer. He is best known for his starring role as Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars trilogy, and his voice role as the Joker in Batman, the animated series, its spin-offs, and the acclaimed video games Batman, Arkham Asylum and Batman, Arkham City. Hamill has also lent his voice to various other villains and anti-heroes in various other animated productions.
Early life and education.
Hamill was born in Oakland, California, and raised in Virginia. He is the son of Virginia Suzanne, born Johnson, and William Thomas Hamill, who was a captain in the U.S. Navy. He is one of 7 children, including 2 brothers, Will and Patrick, and 4 sisters, Terry, Jan, Jeannie, and Kim. His mother was of half Swedish descent. When Mark was a child, his father's career meant moving on numerous occasions and subsequently, he attended different schools throughout his early life. In his elementary years, he went to Walsingham Academy and Poe Middle School. At age 11, he moved to the 5900 block of Castleton Drive in San Diego where he attended Hale Junior High School and then, during his first year at James Madison Senior High School, his family moved to Virginia. By junior year, his father was stationed in Japan where Mark attended Niles Kinnick High School on Yokosuka Naval Base, near Yokohama and was a member of the drama club. After that he attended Annandale High School in Annandale, Virginia. He subsequently enrolled at Los Angeles City College and majored in drama.
Early career.
Hamill's early career included voicing the character Corianders on the Saturday morning cartoon Genie by Hanna-Barbera Productions. He also portrayed the oldest son, David, on the pilot episode of 8 is Enough, though the role was later performed by Grant Goodiv. He acted in TV series such as The Texas Wheelers, General Hospital, The Partridge Family, and One Day at a Time. One of his earliest films was the made-for-TV film The City.
Star Wars.
Robert Englund was auditioning for a part in Apocalypse Now when he walked across the hall where auditions were taking place for George Lucas's Star Wars. After watching the auditions for a while, he realized that his friend, aspiring actor Mark Hamill, would be perfect for the role of Luke Skywalker. He suggested to Hamill that he audition for the part. Hamill did, and won the role. Released in the summer of 1977, Star Wars was an enormous, unexpected success and made a huge impact on the film industry. Hamill also appeared in the Star Wars Holiday Special, 1978, and later starred in the successful Star Wars sequels The Empire Strikes Back, 1980, and Return of the Jedi, 1983. For each of the sequels, Hamill was honored with the Saturn Award for Best Actor given by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films. He reprised the role of Luke Skywalker for the radio dramatizations of both Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, but did not act in the Return of the Jedi radio drama due to budgetary concerns. With the acquisition of Lucasfilm by the Walt Disney Company, it has been announced that there will be more Star Wars films starting with Episode 7, which will be released in 2015. Hamill will appear in the new trilogy alongside fellow Star Wars actors Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher as Han Solo and Princess Leia, respectively. Reprints of Joseph Campbell's The Hero with a Thousand Faces, which influenced Lucas as he was developing the films, issued after the release of Star Wars in 1977 used the image of Hamill as Luke Skywalker on the cover. Hamill returns to the Star Wars universe in 2014, where he voices the legendary ancient Sith Lord, Darth Bane, in the final episode of the animated series The Clone Wars.
Car accident.
On January 11, 1977, one day before he was set to shoot one of the needed scenes in Star Wars, Hamill was in a car accident in which he fractured his nose and left cheekbone, requiring 7 hours of surgery. As a result, a double was used for the land speeder pickup shots.
Live action and stage work.
After the success of Star Wars, Hamill found that audiences identified him very closely with the role of Luke Skywalker. He attempted to avoid typecasting by appearing in Corvette Summer, 1978, and the better-known World War II film The Big Red One, 1980. Hamill also made a guest appearance on The Muppet Show as both himself and his role of Luke Skywalker. C-3PO and R2-D2 were along with him on a search for Chewbacca in that episode. As the 1980s wore on, Hamill did little film work outside of Star Wars. Instead, he acted on Broadway, starring in The Elephant Man, Harrigan N. Hart, for which he received a Drama Desk Award nomination, The Nerd, and other stage plays, for which he received positive reviews. Hamill played the antagonist Hawkins in the Swedish action movie Hamilton in 1998. Some of his other film credits include The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, Britannia Hospital, Slipstream, The Giver, and the 1995 remake of Village of the Damned. In 1990, he played an escaped mental patient who terrorizes Michael Dudikoff and his wife in Midnight Ride. He also narrated The Sci-Fi Files, a 4-part documentary about the influence of science fiction upon present society. In 2001, Hamill starred in the feature film Thank You, Good Night alongside Christian Campbell, John Paul Peacock, and Sally Kirkland. Hamill appeared in the film Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back and parodies Luke Skywalker, the Joker, the Trickster, of the Flash fame, and the rest of the vast array of supervillain voices he has done and himself all at the same time. In live-action television, Hamill had recurring roles in General Hospital and the Texas Wheelers, and a small role in The Bill Cosby Show. He guest appeared in 2 episodes as the Trickster in the live-action television series of The Flash, a role he would later reprise in the animated series Justice League Unlimited. He has made cameo appearances on MAD-TV, where he played the estranged father of Ms. Swan, and appeared on Saturday Night Live, playing himself being sold on a Star Wars-themed home shopping sale. Hamill appeared on single episodes of Third Rock from the Sun and Just Shoot Me. In 1986, he appeared in an episode of the TV series Amazing Stories, Gather Ye Acorns in the role of Jonathan. He also had a recurring role as Tobias LeConte on Sequest DSV. It has been recounted by Richard Hatch that, shortly after the filming of Star Wars, when Mark appeared on set for a guest appearance on Streets of San Francisco, he was asked by Richard about recent work, to which Mark had reportedly replied, "I just finished a movie called Star Wars." Hamill also directed and starred in the 2005 direct-to-DVD comic book, The Movie. A comic book fan who attended science fiction and comic conventions before he became famous, Hamill claimed that his character was based on an exaggerated version of himself. He and his crew shot most of the mockumentary film during the 2002 San Diego Comic-Con, and enlisted Stan Lee, Kevin Smith, and Hugh Hefner in small roles. The movie won an award for Best Live-Action DVD Premiere Movie at the 2005 DVD Exclusive Awards.
Voice acting.
Mark Hamill has gained a reputation as a prolific voice actor. He previously did voice acting work in the Ralph Bakshi film Wizards, where he played Sean, leader of the Knights of Stardust, which was released just 3 months before Star Wars in 1977. Though the voice role he is most known for is Batman's archenemy the Joker, his success as the Joker has led him to portray a wide variety of characters, mostly villainous, in television, film, anime, and video games. Mark Hamill was also the voice of the Hobgoblin in the 1990s Spider-Man cartoon series.
The Joker.
Hamill's acclaimed role as the Joker began in Batman, the animated series, 1992 to 1995, and continued to many later spin-off series, video games and films. Hamill had initially played a guest voice role as corrupt businessman Ferris Boyle in the episode Heart of Ice, and was delighted when offered the role of the Joker, one of his favorite characters, after the previous choice Tim Curry dropped out. The most prominent feature of his portrayal that has garnered such acclaim is his dynamic use of laughter to express the Joker's mood. Hamill referred to the Joker's laugh as being like a musical instrument and would practice laughing maniacally while driving to recording sessions. Hamill received critical acclaim for his performance, which put him in high demand as a voiceover actor of cartoon villains. Hamill also voiced the Joker in 3 episodes of Superman, the animated series, 5 episodes of The New Batman Adventures, 5 episodes of Justice League, an episode of Static Shock and a few segments in Robot Chicken. He also voiced the Joker in the theatrical film Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, 1993, and the direct-to-video film Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, 2000. The short-lived WB live-action series, Birds of Prey, based on the comic book of the same title, featured a flashback sequence in which the Joker shoots Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, and paralyzes her. This sequence featured Hamill voicing the Joker, dubbed over actor Roger Stone, whose facial structure more resembled the character. The actor's face was shot in the background so as to be slightly blurred. Hamill also voiced the Joker alongside his Batman, the animated series co-star Kevin Conroy as Batman and Jason Hillhouse as Dick Grayson in a feature of a storyboard scene included in the 2005 special edition DVD of Tim Burton's 1989 film Batman. This scene depicted the origin of Robin, which was not filmed because the producers felt it was out of place with the rest of the film. Hamill has said that he has voiced the Joker for toys and amusement park rides. Although these jobs did not pay particularly well, he enjoyed even these small roles and admitted being protective of the character, expressing concern with others sleeping in his sleeping bag. He also self-identifies as a real comic book nerd. Hamill has portrayed the Joker in a few Batman-themed video games, notably Batman Vengeance, the Sega CD version of The Adventures of Batman and Robin, and in Batman, Arkham Asylum. Hamill again reprised the role in the Arkham sequel, Batman, Arkham City. In May 2010, Hamill declared to IGN UK that his role in Arkham City would be his last as the Joker, saying the ending was fitting enough to retire his Joker on a high note. This was due to, after the release of Arkham Asylum, Hamill revealing that "this will be my last, there's no question about that. But it's the last hurrah." Some months later, with the announcement of Arkham City, he clarified the rumors about him retiring the role by saying, via his Twitter account, "Only said Arkham Asylum would be hard to top, not that I was quitting." On October 19, 2011, shortly after the release of the game, Mark Hamill again announced his retirement on his Twitter account, saying, "Hello goodbye Joker. I've enjoyed every minute behind the wheel of the Clown Prince's crazy car, I'm going to miss him more than I can say." However, Hamill has since denied his statements of retiring the character, stating that he was somehow misquoted. On July 14, 2012, during a San Diego Comic-Con interview with Spike TV, Hamill was asked about his decision to retire the role. He responded, "Well, never say never." On June 2012, WB Games released the expansion pack DLC titled The Last Laugh for the MMORPG DC Universe Online, featuring Mark Hamill as the Joker. Mark Hamill also posted his Never Say Never comment on Twitter. During a 2011 Comic-Con, when asked about Heath Ledger's Oscar-winning portrayal of the character in Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, Hamill claims it was the most original performance he's ever seen since the Anthony Hopkins Oscar-winning portrayal of Hannibal Lecter in The Silence of the Lambs. Hamill also commented that if there would ever be an animated version of Batman, The Killing Joke, he would gladly voice the Joker again, encouraging fans to campaign for said adaptation, most notably in a tweet made on October 24, 2011. Since then, a Facebook page titled "Petition to Get Mark Hamill to Play the Joker in Animated Killing Joke" has been set up by his fans.
Other television and movie voice roles.
Hamill did the voice of Lawrence Larry 3000, in Cartoon Network's animated series Time Squad. He also guest-starred in The Simpsons episode Mayor to the Mob. On the audio commentary of the episode, he says that he has been a fan of the show since it debuted in 1987 on The Tracy Ullman Show, and that it was a personal thrill to work with Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson. His acclaim for the Joker role has led to other supervillain roles in other animated series, including the Gargoyle in the animated series of The Incredible Hulk, the Hobgoblin in Spider-Man, the animated series, Maximus in Fantastic Four, Captain Stickerbeard in Codename Kids Next Door, and the deranged shock jock anchorman Dr. Jack in Phantom 2040. He even parodied his Joker role in the Tom and Jerry Kids episode Droopy Man Returns, and in the Animaniacs episode The Cranial Crusader, as Johnny Badnote. He voiced Dr. Julius Pendecker in The Tick, and Najar the Evil Wolf in Balto 2, Wolf Quest. He also voiced Christopher Maverick Blair in the animated series Wing Commander Academy. In 1999, he provided the voice of Van Ripper in The Night of the Headless Horseman. He voiced the character of Hanukkah Zombie for the 2007 straight-to-DVD release Futurama, Bender's Big Score. He also voiced the character Adolfo in Lunatics Unleashed. He also voiced the character Bats Biker in the Disney Channel original series Gravity Falls. Hamill was also the voice of Judah in the DreamWorks film Joseph, King of Dreams. Hamill also provided voice acting for comic book baddies Solomon Grundy and the Trickster in the DC Animated Universe series Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Hamill has since voiced the murderous gangster Tony Zucco in The Batman, an animated series unrelated to the various DCAU shows. He also voiced the Spectre, in an episode of Batman, The Brave and the Bold, another animated series unrelated to the DCAU. Hamill performs the voice of the bad guy Undergrowth in the Danny Phantom episode Urban Jungle. He provided the voice of series antagonist Fire Lord Ozai in Avatar, The Last Airbender and Skeleton King in Super Robot Monkey Team Hyperforce Go. He also guest-starred as the Moth in the SpongeBob SquarePants episode Nightlight. Additionally, he played the latter character in The Miner and the Count shorts. In the Hanna-Barbera Productions cartoon SWAT Cats, The Radical Squadron, Hamill voiced Johnny K, the Red Lynx, and Burke, among others. He is also a recurring voice actor on Seth Green's Robot Chicken. In April 2009, he had a voice cameo in the NASA animated short robot astronomy talk show, Gravity and the Great Attractor, part of the web series Irrelevant Astronomy, produced by NASA's Spitzer Space Telescope. He is currently doing voice work for several characters in the Metalocalypse animated series, and plays the voice of Skips in the animated series Regular Show. He also voices Frank the Director in Random Cartoons on Frederator Studios. He also voiced Abraham Kane in the new series, Motor City. In 2012, it was confirmed that Hamill is also doing the voice work for Alvin the Treacherous, a villain who has appeared in DreamWorks television series, Dragons, Riders of Berk. Hamill narrated the Medal of Honor and Silver Star citations of Tiber Rubin, Ralphie Pomeroy, John Finnegan and Mitchell Red Cloud Jr. for the 2013 Korean War documentary Finnegan's War directed by Connor Timmis.
Anim.
He voiced Colonel Musker in the second English-language version of Castle in the Sky and the Mayor of Paget in Norgesai of the Valley of the Wind, both directed by Hayao Miyazaki and distributed by Disney. Hamill provided the voice of Commander Taylor in Robotech, The Shadow Chronicles, the sequel to the 1980s adapted anime series Robotech. He was also in Afro Samurai Resurrection. Hamill provides the voice of Jameson Burkwright in the miniseries comedy The Wrong Coast, and Yama in the joint Cartoon Network production IG anime series IGPX Immortal Grand Prix. In early 2010, he voiced as Dante's father in the anime film version of Dante's Inferno.
Video games.
Hamill's roles in television animation led to his recruitment as a voice actor for a number of video games, most often as the protagonist. When the Wing Commander series of computer games started using full-motion video cutscenes, Hamill was cast as the series protagonist, Colonel Christopher Blair, a role he played in Wing Commander 3, Heart of the Tiger, 1994, Wing Commander 4, The Price of Freedom, 1995, and Wing Commander, Prophecy, 1997. In the 1999 Wing Commander film, set earlier in the series, the character was played by Freddie Prinze, Jr. He did however, have a voiceover cameo, as did many of the other actors who did voiceovers for the game. Hamill was also cast as the voice of Christopher Blair in the animated television series Wing Commander Academy. Other notable computer game roles: voice only, include Detective Mosley and Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers, Assistant Director Wilson and Soldier of Fortune 2, Double Helix, several characters in the LucasArts game Full Throttle, including the game's main villain, Adrian Ripburger, and Wolverine in X-Men 2, Wolverine's Revenge, the tie-in game to the movie X-Men 2. Hamill also provided a voice for one of the selectable voice assets in Icewind Dale, Heart of Winter expansion, and also two of the primary characters of Starsiege, one of them a young warrior leading a rebellion against an empire. Hamill voiced characters for the Scorpion King, Rise of the Acadian, and also played the role of Emperor Griffon in the PlayStation 2 role-playing game Dark Cloud 2, as well as Colonel Kreutz in Grandia Extreme. While some have mistakenly suspected that he reprised his role as Luke Skywalker for LucasArts' Star Wars Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast and Star Wars Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, the character is actually voiced by Bob Bergen, also the voice of Porky Pig and others. Hamill's likeness is also used as an alternative character model in the Wii and PlayStation 2 versions of Star Wars, The Force Unleashed. The PlayStation 2 and Wii editions feature both A New Hope and Return of the Jedi models. He narrated a documentary on the United States 1st Infantry Division. Footage from the documentary was used in the video game Call of Duty 2, Big Red One. He has appeared in 2 installments in the Crash Bandicoot series, in Crash Bandicoot, The Wrath of Cortex as Py with a fire elemental, and in Crash, Mind Over Mutant as the ZNU. Hamill did voiceover work for the PlayStation 2 game Yakuza, where he plays Goro Majima, a lieutenant in a Yakuza family. He is also the voice of Malphur the Dark Master in The Legend of Spyro, Dawn of the Dragon. He also lent his vocal talents to Darksiders, as the Watcher. Hamill also lent his voice to the English version of the PlayStation Portable title, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep as Master Irax. The game's director, Tetsuya Nomura, stated in an interview that he chose Hamill for the part specifically because of his role as Luke Skywalker. One of Hamill's most prestigious roles in video games is his work on Batman, Arkham Asylum, as the Joker. He also played the Joker in the sequel, Batman, Arkham City, winning the 2011 British Academy Video Game Award for Best Performer.
Audiobooks.
Hamill voiced the character of Todd Wainio in World War Z, a critically acclaimed audiobook based on Max Brooks' novel of the same name. He also provided the entire cast of voices for a 1983 audiobook version of Pinocchio, with unique characteristics for each. Hamill also reads life into the characters of the popular juvenile fiction book series, The Spidrick Chronicles Volumes I-3, by Holly Black and Tony D. Terlizzi.
Narration.
Hamill is credited as the narrator in Ancient Voices, a 1999 series of documentaries on archaeology and ancient history produced by as a BBC The Learning Channel co-production, and published by Time Life as a DVD series.
Later live-action work.
In 2011, Hamill appeared as a villain in the 5th season of NBC's show Chuck. Hamill also appeared in the TV series, Criminal Minds in the last season either episodes as John Curtis, also known as the Replicator, a serial killer who has been stalking the BAU team throughout the show's 8th season. He also made a guest appearance alongside George Takei in the season 1 finale of the ABC sitcom The Neighbors as Commandant Bill. Hamill did not star in any live-action films for a number of years until 2011, where he starred in the film Minko, an independent film about the life of Barry Minko, the famous con man. Hamill played Minko's father, Robert Minko. The same year he starred in the Hungarian film, The Alameris. The film was the first mainstream science fiction film to be released in Hungary. The next year Hamill starred in 2 more live-action films, British horror film Airborne and the small independent film Sushi Girl. Airborne was met with a negative reception from critics and audiences. Hamill said in an interview that Sushi Girl, which also starred Tony Todd, Noah Hathaway, James Duval and Danny Trejo, was a great challenge for him as it took him out of his comfort zone, since it was such a dark film. He did not accept the role until he got encouragement from his daughter, who said he would be crazy not to accept it.
Return to Star Wars.
On April 29, 2014, Hamill was announced as a cast member of Star Wars Episode VII by the Walt Disney Company. For over a year prior to the announcement, both Disney and Hamill were coy about whether he would be a cast member. In an interview with Bloomberg Businessweek in March 2013, George Lucas hinted that Hamill, along with his Star Wars co-stars Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, would reprise their respective roles in Star Wars, Episode VII. Hamill confirmed similar information to itonline.com in February 2013, saying, "They're talking to us. George wanted to know whether we'd be interested. We haven't signed any contracts." Hamill said he knew nothing about the storyline. In September 2013, Robert Englund, actor and longtime friend of Mark Hamill, said that Hamill was currently working out in the gym. Englund stated, "Mark now, they've got Mark in the gym, because Mark's coming back as Luke Skywalker. They've got him doing his sit-ups." It was previously reported that both Hamill and Fisher had been assigned nutritionists and personal trainers to work with the head of production.
Writing career.
Hamill is the co-writer of The Black Pearl, a comic book miniseries published by Dark Horse Comics. He wrote an introduction to the trade paperback Batman, Riddler Two-Face, which reprints various stories involving the Riddler and Two-Face to tie in with Batman Forever. He has also written several stories for Simpsons comics, including Catastrophe and Substitute Springfields, which parodies DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths and also references several other classic comics.
Personal life.
On December 17, 1978, Hamill married dental hygienist Marilu York in a private civil ceremony. They have 3 children together: Nathan, born June 25, 1979, Griffin, born March 4, 1983, and Chelsea Elizabeth, born July 27, 1988. His son Nathan was born during the production of The Empire Strikes Back and had a cameo role in Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace, 1999, playing one of the Royal Guards of Naboo.
Political views.
At Comic-Con 2012, Hamill said to OnTheRedCarpet.com, "If you don't vote for Barack Obama, you're insane. 'Cause without him, I think the middle class will completely disappear. And you look at Romney and I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he is like the Thing, he only imitates human behavior, he's not actually human himself. So God bless him. I'm enjoying him running for office, but I just came out as a lifelong Democrat." Hamill has appeared on the Young Turks on Current TV, to discuss politics.
Comics.